Hey, 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 hey. As y'all enter, make sure y'all hit that like button. Make sure you hit all the hearts, the stars, whatever. Make sure you do that. Listen, as I told you all on Tuesday, Wednesday, yesterday, and today was going to be difficult for me to get online to ding, and I was going to do last night. I was going to try to do a recap of yesterday, but that didn't work out as well. So y'all have me till about maybe 3:30 ish. So that would be 4:30ish Eastern Standard Time. So what I want to do this morning, because the court has gone underway, and so what I want to do this morning is to go over yesterday, and I'll do that with the recaps from CNN. I don't know if I will be reading all the information from yesterday with the tweets. So we'll just do it will be an overview of yesterday, and then that will get us into that will definitely get us into today. So I understand that there was some stunt shows and shenanigans yesterday with Cassie's husband being asked to leave the courtroom before some afternoon testimony. We'll kind of go over that. I understand that there was so much detailed discussed in regards to the freak offs and where they were and all that other stuff. We'll definitely get into that. I did a post here on X and I did it on my TikTok account. Let's see. Hmm. I'm just trying to pick up all the little pieces before we start. Let's see what I have here. All right, so let's do this. Let me find out where I'm at first. And as y'all come in, hit the like button, hit the like button, hit the like button. All right. Mm-mm-mm. All right. So that they were recapping the day before yesterday's stuff. So let's see what we've got going on here. Spokesperson for Sean Diddy Combs is optimistic and eager to cross-examine Cassie, and that's what they're doing today. And I imagine so. I imagine they are really wanting to hone in just an overview from the stuff that I saw yesterday and what was reported. Um, I think the prosecution showed that there was some coercion going on. I think that from what I understand, they were bouncing around all the different dates and stuff like that. So that got to be a little confusing, a little different things like that. From what some of the people who were there in the courtroom were describing, they felt like she was sincere. They felt like she was telling the truth, even though some of the things that we as the public would be looking like, girl, that's so odd. What are you talking about? But they felt like her testimony was sincere. They felt like that her testimony was truthful. I hadn't heard anybody talk about whether or not they felt like her pregnancy was causing any issues in regards to her testimony yet. Uh, A lot of people were saying that the style of one of the prosecutors was a little wonky. Again, going back and forth between dates, not staying on particular dates. I understand we got to the Kid Cudi incident. I'm wondering, as verification, is Kid Cudi going to come to court? That's, I mean, because for me, they're talking about his car catching fire. I'm wondering what he felt or what his stuff. I want to hear his testimony in regards to that, because from what I understand, that there was a meeting between Cassie, Kid Cudi, and Diddy. So I definitely I want to hear about any of those things. Let's see. His mama in there working in their fly, but she's trying to play out now. I'm sorry, but she's always been hip, young, and everything like that. So it's jarring to try to see her walk in like she's ill, but she could be ill because her son is on trial. So let's see what some evidentiary problems they had yesterday. Lawyers are arguing about the text message evidence ahead of today's testimony. The parties are arguing over text message threads between Sean Diddy Combs and Cassie that the defense might want to submit as evidence during Ventura's cross later. Prosecutor Maureen Comey said the defense should have given notice to the government about the exhibits much sooner. Combs' defense attorneys are arguing that they've been pulling possible exhibits to respond to Ventura's direct testimony as it progresses. The judge hasn't made a ruling on that. Judge says defense team should turn over evidence before cross-examination. So he's just telling them that they should be turning over the evidence that they intend to use during their cross examination before the cross examination begins, which makes sense. You ought to have everything that you need to have, because I know that there has been a change of attorneys, but they got her back on the stand. Let's get to the testimony. Ventura recalls Combs packing up guns. So this is pretty much her discussing. She did this when I was covering it the other day, that she talked about Diddy and I think a couple of his security people or whoever they were running out of the door because they heard that Suge Knight was someplace. So it says here, prosecutor Emily Johnson is clarifying a few points from Cassie Ventura's testimony from yesterday or the day before yesterday. She circled back to an incident Ventura testified when Ventura called a time that Sean Combs and his security personnel, quote unquote, packed up and drove away after learning his rival, Marion Suge Knight, was nearby. And I don't remember, did they do anything, or they just knew he was over there and they just kind of bucked up? Because that didn't make any sense to me. I mean, it does in the terms of we knew that they didn't like each other, but it didn't make any sense in the terms of why would you go over there? Because let's be clear, you're in his city. I don't know why you would buck up like that. Ventura says that Combs took her belongings to the hotel during the 2016 hotel location. Now, we also learned that what we saw was after a freak off when she was trying to go back home because she wanted to prepare for a premiere that she was going to. And so all of that kicked off after that. And Ventura noted that when Combs walked away, her phone was in his hand. The Department of Justice released the whole 15-minute video, even including the parts where the security guard was recording it off of the intercontinental's screen, computer screen. Because I was thrown when he said, "Oh, look at that boy, his shoes so shine." I was thrown by all of that. However, I didn't watch it all because it just wasn't enough. It was too much for me to watch all. But I do remember seeing that he did go in that corner because he took her bags. He went back to the room with the bags, and then it appeared when he was going down the hallway, it appeared like he was kind of miffed, shocked, and then mad because she wasn't trailing behind him. Because you remember she went to the phone and she got on the phone the first time, and then he threw something at her. And then when he came back and it looked like he took her phone or took something and he walked back down, he looked a little miffed because when he turned back around, he looked like, oh, well, she's not behind me. So then he goes back, and I think that she was standing there on the phone. But yeah, he gave me very menacing and just very menacing and just it was, y'all, what is that word? Be right up under evil. It's a word, but it means almost the same thing, but it's just right up under there. He just gave me just this eerie, eerie feeling, real eerie feeling, because he's just, because all of this is because he wants his production to continue. All of that because he wants that production, that freak off debauchery production art piece. He wants it to continue. And he's so used to getting what he wants when he wants it and how he wants it, regardless of how anybody feel about that. And you can't make me change my mind to know that when he first saw Cassie, he had these envisions in his head. Because again, my flappers were so gassed at when we realized that he signed her to a 10-album deal. I have not known anybody in the entertainment business, the music business, that has ever been able to fulfill a 10-album deal on their first contract. Child. Let's continue. Combs' team did not want pregnant Cassie Ventura paraded by jury before her testimony. Interesting. Cassie Ventura, the star witness in the Sean Diddy Combs case, entered the courtroom on Tuesday with a visible baby up. But prior to her testimony, Combs' defense team made their best effort to have Ventura seated at the witness stand before the jury entered the courtroom. I'm going to ask that victim number one, when she testifies, be already in the jury box when the jury comes in, Combs' attorney, Mac Agnifilo, requested in court on Monday, adding he was making the request because of Ventura's physical condition, and the judge denied the request. I mean, I figured I have asked that question before. Did anybody think that her pregnancy was going to be uh, an issue, so to speak? And it looks like they think that it was going to be an issue on some level. Pardon me, y'all. Y'all don't need to hear me doing my weak impression of Darth Vader into this mic. These are the text messages Combs sent Ventura after the 2016 hotel altercation. After security guard Israel Flores responded to the hotel room following the 2016 altercation, Cassie Ventura testified that she was able to get her things and leave the hotel. She took an Uber to her apartment, she said. From the witness stand, Ventura read a series of text messages between Combs and herself from the altercation. Those texts read, call me. Yo, please call me. I got 6 kids. Please call me. Yo, please call me. I'm surrounded. And it's interesting. This right here. I got 6 kids. For my kids' help. You will sure use your children when you feel like you're in trouble and there's some problems with you. But you hadn't thought anything about, and I'm talking about Diddy. You hadn't thought anything about the fact that the debauchery that you all were planning for this girl, for her, plying her with drugs and all this other stuff, lying about you helping her with her album. You didn't think nothing about her parents. You didn't think anything about her siblings. You didn't think anything about her family. And which leads me to think you really didn't think anything about her. She was just a vessel you were using for the debauchery. Because, see, this tells me when they get to pleading like this, they know what they're doing is incorrect. Ventura testified that she responded eventually and said, "Put the robe on." She said she sent that because he was running around in a towel and I was just looking out. He again texted her and said, "Call me, call now." Ventura said she responded again by telling Combs that she spoke to security the es- and the escort had left. She told him, "As long as you don't disturb the guests, they'll leave you be." Ventura texted Combs that he gave her a black eye and a fat lip. Prosecutor Emily Johnson showed the jury two selfie photos of Cassie Ventura, which she said were taken on the Uber ride home from the hotel after the altercation on 2016. Ventura said that she had a fat lip and was wearing sunglasses because I had a black eye underneath. Combs texted her asking her to call him. He claimed the police were there and he was getting arrested. "Call me. The cops are here. You're going to abandon me all alone." Playing with the heartstrings. But you popped her in the face a couple of times. She participated in a whole night of freak offs. And you wanted her to come back. So then we have these manipulation tactics. The cops are here. The police are here. They're going to arrest me. I'm getting arrested. Mean, Meanwhile, he probably was just making arrangements to get that. Not laughing, ha ha, laughing like, wow, this is just enough. This is a lot. Ventura says she talked to the police after 2016 altercation. Cassie Ventura testified that her friend was at her apartment when she got home from the hotel after the altercation in 2016. She was super upset. She had seen both black eyes and busted lip before, Ventura said. Her friend called the police, Ventura said. "I answered a couple of questions, but when they wanted me to say who I was talking about, I would not. So they left," she said. Johnson asked why she wouldn't tell the police Sean Diddy Combs' name. And she says, "Just in that moment, I did not want to hurt him in that way. It was just too much going on," Ventura said, adding that she wasn't ready. Ventura said Combs tried to get her to get into her apartment, calling it pretty normal behavior for him. And I remember somebody talking about that. So let's see if this is the same stuff. Cassie Ventura testified that she could hear Sean Diddy Combs banging, kicking, and yelling outside her door, trying to get into her apartment later that day following the 2016 hotel altercation. One of his assistants also reached out to Ventura to tell her Combs was trying to get into her apartment, she said. The behavior outside her door, she said, was pretty normal. So here again, and I think as we go on, we need to pay attention to certain things, and particularly when the prosecution is highlighting certain things. When they're highlighting about one of his assistants calling her, when they highlight anything to do with the security guard providing stuff, uh, or anybody on Diddy's payroll providing her stuff, taking her places, checking up on her. These things need to be paid attention because that's part of that racketeering charge. We need to pay attention to when they start bringing up about the arranging for the escorts, the paying of the escorts. So you arrange for the escorts, that's one thing. You make an agreement with the escort to participate in the freak off and the whole elaborate production of it. You get paid for your participation in the freak off. And you also provided transportation to and from the freak off. Particularly pay attention to because my understanding is there were several of the escorts that I guess made the cut. And so they were recalled several times. Pay attention to where those people participated within those freak offs, because that goes into the transportation of folks over state lines to participate in. So pay attention to because this is what the prosecution is trying to put forth. Even with all the pageantry of the debauchery that they're talking about. And I know that those things are the salacious stuff that we're looking at. We still need to pay attention to what the charges are. So when they're talking about the planning, the arranging, and the payment for the escorts for this whole production of the debauchery, also pay attention to uh, the prosecutors outlining the behaviors of Sean Combs in regards to it, the coercion with the giving of the drugs, threatening physical violence, causing physical violence. The 2016 tape shows that there was a freak off going on. She wanted to stop the freak off. The violence was used in an effort to get her back in to finish the production of this freak off. So pay attention to that. With the defense on the stage, pay attention to their saying their job is to give you uh, reasonable doubt. It's not their job to come up with a whole different scenario like they do on television. That's not their job. Their job is to poke holes. And one of the holes I believe that they're wanting to poke in this whole thing is she was a willing participant. Matter of fact, not only was she a willing participant, she was the one that arranged for the escorts to come there. Remember that the first escort testified that Cassie was the one that arranged for him to be there and that she was the one that paid, if I'm not mistaken. He made that in, so the money went from her hands to his. So the defense should be looking at the fact that if the defense is going to try to clear their client, they're going to try to say that it was what she wanted to do. She was the one that made all of the arrangements. She did this because she loved him, and this was supposed to be a gift for him. And that the reason why we're at this situation right now, I guess pretty much that she was scorned, but by this time that they had been broken up for a while. But let's continue. But I just want y'all to pay attention to that, because a lot of times we get so caught up in the sensationalism of what's going on that we're not trying to pay attention to what the prosecution has to prove and how the defense is supposed to poke holes in it. Let's see. Jury views photos of Ventura from movie premiere. Okay. Is this one of the photos? Who did her makeup? The perfect match. Yeah, let me look this movie up. Hold on. So this is a movie that she did with Terrence J. Oh, so she was the lead. Terrence J and Cassie. Lauren London was in the movie. Donald Faison. Paula Patton. Layla James. Casper Smart. French Montana. Brandy. Bria. Okay. Okay. So this was something very important to her, particularly when it looks like she was number two on the call sheet. Okay. Let's see who produced it. Oh. Everything seems to be working. So I see this Alex Avant. And I wonder, is he related to that Charles Avant? Ooh, the rabbit hole goes deeper, I promise. Queen Latifah was an executive producer on this. Terrence Jenkins was Terrence J was a executive producer on that. Interesting. Okay. Hold on, y'all. Okay, so she's in this go. This is the movie premiere she was trying to the point where, he ran down the hallway with some colored socks and a towel. Okay, pretty dress. Well, I tell you, whoever her makeup was, they contoured this. Ooh, these pictures are so blurry. We don't have one picture that's not blurry and pixelated. Ooh, is that a bruise on her shoulder, or is that her just a highlighting makeup? Because it looks like her eye makeup. Whoever did her eye makeup really caked that on there For them saying, because this, you remember the security guard said that he saw a bruise. So let's continue. What's this saying? Sean Diddy Combs. Okay, so we could go to Getty Images. We'll do that. The jury just saw a photo of Cassie after she went there to do a movie fitting. She was dressed in a gown and wearing large black sunglasses. The sunglasses, she testified, were to hide her black eye. Ventura said that she still had visible injuries during the premiere. I had bruises on my body that were completely covered by makeup. I had quite a bit of makeup on my face, she said. The jury saw a photo of Ventura and Combs from the premiere at the event. Some injuries on her body were still visible visible in the photo despite the makeup. Now I don't see it in this picture right here, but the other picture where she's like, there's a picture where she's like standing forward, looking at the camera. You could see something on one of her on the other shoulder. That's the one that's near him. And look at him cheesing and smiling like ain't nothing happened. Ventura said that it was her job to hire escorts using Combs' money. That's important. The defense is going to harp on that. She's the one that hired the people. Cassie Ventura reviewed a binder of more than a dozen photos of escorts she and Sean Diddy Combs hired for freak-offs over the years in different cities. That's what's so important. Over the years, different cities, dozen escorts. She said she typically reached out to the escorts to arrange the freak-offs because it was her job. When she paid them, it was with Combs' money, Ventura testified. Because at that point, her job was the freak-offs. Because that second album never showed up. Even with her going into the studio, the second album never showed up. Prosecution using the 2016 hotel surveillance to bolster Ventura's credibility, CNN Eagle analyst says. So let's go into here. The prosecution has shown the 2016 hotel surveillance video multiple times during Cassie Ventura's testimony to support her credibility. The prosecution has shown the video repeatedly because it's so visceral. Because if you're a juror or a normal person, because remember, a jury is of your peers. These are people that walk out here in the world with you. Because you're a juror, normal person, when you see that video, the violence becomes so real. He added the prosecution is doing two things by playing the video while Ventura is on the stand. One, they're supporting Cassie Ventura's credibility because what she's saying, the jury doesn't need to take her at her word. They can see it on the video. And the second thing is they are using Cassie to narrate that video because it tells you a lot, but it doesn't tell you everything. So it shows him being violent. And remember, the defense has, I guess it's the word capitulated, has stated, hey, we know he could be violent, he could be scary, he'll beat you. We know he does all that. That's domestic violence, but that doesn't mean that he is trafficking or anything like that. So with her standing up there and saying this video in context is right after we have the freak off, and after the freak off, we had freaked all night. We had freaked the past couple of nights. And I knew that I had a premiere to get to. We talked about it in the room, and that's what precipitated him dotting me in my eye in between, because he wanted me to call another worker so they can continue to do the freak offs. So she was like, that's not what I want to do. She waited till he got into the shower, or he waited till he got into the bathroom. She got her stuff together and she left. Because remember, those freak offs didn't happen without him being there. They talked about her avoiding kissing escorts because it made her squeamish. I'm quite sure it did, along with all the other stuff. Ventura says she preferred taking ketamine because it was the most dissociative. In January 2016, Sean Diddy Combs sends Cassie Ventura a text that he wanted to have a proper FO where they didn't take ketamine. A successful FO is one we remember. Ventura testified that she preferred to take the drug for freak-offs because it was the most dissociative. It was the one that made her not see or remember what was going on. She described how her plans for her 29th birthday were sidelined by Combs's wishes. So she's now, mind you, she met him on or around her 19th birthday. So by 29, and what, they didn't start their relationship until she turned 21 or after she turned 21 or something to that effect, if I can remember the testimony. So by that time she's been with him about 8 years. In 8 years she only finished one album. But every year, 2 and 3 times a week, they're doing freak offs. All right. Cassie Ventura testified that to celebrate her 29th birthday, she wanted to go to a club that called the Blind Dragon. She wanted to go to a club called the Blind Dragon and do karaoke with friends. But she said that Sean Diddy Combs told her he wanted to have a freak off. Because now that we understand and know um, that the freak offs were basically designed for Cassie and Diddy. They weren't the orgy parties that we all thought that they were. These things were specifically designed and curated for Sean and Cassie. I told him that I wanted to stay out and celebrate with my friends. And in my mind, I just didn't want the burden of having to do that at the end of the night, she said. I just wanted to have my party. Ventura said that they went to the Blind Dragon for a bit, but she says Combs pulled her aside so many times she gave up. And we went and had a freak off, she said. So he pushed and pulled and pouted like a little child until he got the freak off. And again, let's keep this in focus. She has a 10 album deal that she has to fulfill. I know for normal people, at that point, I would have, at the point that she had pretty much her own money and she was getting money and stuff like that. That was earlier in the career because remember she said that she had her own place in Studio City. But I don't think that she still has that place or she had that place after a while because again, he was paying for everything and she didn't have anything disposable but what he gave her. Combs threatens to release the videos of freak offs when he was angry. Hold on, y'all. All right, these are the counts. Remember the counts. We've got a racketeering conspiracy, sex trafficking by force, fraud, or coercion, transportation to engage in the prostitute too. Combs threatens to release videos of freak offs when he was angry, Ventura testifies. Cassie DeVentura testifies that Diddy frequently threatened to release the videos. He threatened, he threatened her with releasing the videos, usually when he got angry about something or just wanted me to fear. Ventura said. One times it was over her dating another man. She said, when Combs threatened to put out two embarrassing videos, she feared he would one day be mad enough to release them. We got privacy screen good because I was curious about how they were going to show these freak off videos to the jury and without everyone in the public being able to see it because technically that's porn. So the screens were put up. Combs' sons are in court this morning. His adult son have been present this morning. His daughters have not been in the courtroom all morning. Interesting. And that's interesting how it is that when guys go through all of this stuff like this, it's okay for their sons to see all of this. But no, we don't want the daughters to know their daddy does all of this stuff. They can't know, they can't know, they can't know. And meanwhile, they probably know more of the stuff that their father does. And what's interesting to me, wasn't there a point in time where they said that some of the sons were participating in stuff, or they have their own weird cases too? I don't know which one, but this is interesting. And you know what else is interesting too? Quincy. Because is it my understanding that they possibly will call LB Shore? Now, at this point, I don't know why they would call LB Shore. But let's continue. Jury sees text between Combs and Ventura regarding sexually explicit video of her. Okay, says Cassie Ventura is testifying that she was told about a sexually explicit video of her while they were at an event in Atlantic City on March 2014. My immediate thoughts went to a freak off video, Ventura recalled. The jury just saw a text message thread between Ventura and her former boyfriend, Diddy. Diddy told her to find out more about what he knew about the video and where it came from. Combs told her to ask the person what the room looked like in the video. You got to tell him this. This is your life. This is serious, Combs told her. She met a man. She met the man and a DJ who had shown him the video at a restaurant in New York the next day. She brought security with her to intimidate the men at Combs' direction, Ventura said. Her manager, James Cruz, was also at the dinner. Oh, James has got to be up here. She described the health issues, and I heard about these health issues, about the taking the IVs, about getting the UTIs, about burning and itching, about the sores in her mouth, from all of this, and gross. She felt empty after the freak offs. I imagine she would. Ventura said Combs would push her to go to sex clubs even though they made her uncomfortable. And this is what I was talking about with Shannon Sharp. You've got these kind of proclivities. There are places that you can go for those types of proclivities. They talk about him assaulting her when the escorts was in the room. And the first escort kind of testified to that. saying that he was in the room, but not necessarily he was in one part of the home while they were in the next room when he heard some assaulting. And she said it happened too frequently. There were times Combs would assault her with an escort still in the hotel room. So this is continued. So not only are you're having the UTIs, the sores in your mouth, the bruises on your body from being beat. Everybody now sees you being beat. Ventura describes altercation with Combs that left her with a permanent scar on her eyebrow. And if we're not mistaken, hold on. Because didn't she try to say that this particular scar was from a skiing accident? Hold on. Hold on. Because I remember a post. Here it is. Hold on. I'm going to share my screen. Hold on, y'all. Let me share my screen. This is the photo that I remember that was circulating out there. What happened? This was the photo that I remember that was circulating out there. That she had these glasses on. You see, she has this bust lipped. And then she had this particular thing, and it was something about the caption that she did it when she was skiing or something. And this was supposed to have been shared to her Snapchat. Saying too much fun, Dubai. Look at that. There's a cut on her face. All of these different things. I don't know what happened. But let's get back to what I was reading. Anyway, Cassie Ventura is now testifying about a time in August 2013 when she was sleeping in her apartment after going out with some friends. She says she woke up to a commotion with Sean Diddy Combs in her apartment, yelling about her being asleep and not packing for an upcoming trip. Just a menace. Two of her friends jumped on Combs' back because he was trying to attack me, she said. Eventually, we ended up from the living room into the master bedroom, and they were still jumping on his back. And when he threw me down, I hurt my elbow on the corner of my bed, she testified, adding that she had a pretty significant gash on the side of her eyebrow. One of Combs' security guard took Ventura to a plastic surgeon, And here we go again about the racketeering portion of it all. So here we have levels of violence, and that people within his organization are taking her to plastic surgeons or taking her to the different places to suture her injuries. And knowing that she received those injuries during the participation in a crime. She sent an image of her injuries to Combs later that day with the text, "So you can remember." "I didn't want him to forget what he did," she testified, saying that at the very least, "I just wanted him to be sorry about it." The jury saw a photo of Ventura and rapper French Montana at a festival shortly after the incident. She testified that she styled her hair over her wound so it wouldn't be visible. Ventura pointed to her eyebrow on the witness stand that she has a permanent scar from 2013. She says, "I cover it with makeup." And again, he was threatening to release those videos if she didn't continue to participate in the freak offs. She describes one incident where uh, he was showing her videos again that she thought she did, and it was in a plane, and so she got up and she moved to one area, and then he would go with her and follow her to the next area and show her those videos. So basically, even if she thought she deleted them, she really didn't, because he would recover them and then threaten her with showing those videos to people. And here it looks like she said she made a statement that she treated her like Ike Turner treated Tina Turner. So she talked about the details in this thing is she talked about the freak offs, the physical violence. She gave context to the 2016 video. She talked about other instances where he beat her. She talked about her drug and her health issues. And I think judge instructs attorneys not to engage in witness coaching. She's back on the stand. So they admit some photos into evidence. They show a picture of Mia. Ventura said Mia is a longtime friend of hers and worked for Combs. Johnson showed Ventura an image of one of the escorts they commonly used in the freak offs, which was also admitted under seal. Ventura said that the still image was taken from a video of a freak off that was on her device that she turned over to investigators. Johnson showed Ventura an image of herself and a different escort in a freak off. This image was also taken from a video on one of her devices. Uh, Ventura identified another photo of herself sitting alone on a couch doing a freak off. She's wearing a pair of very high shoes in the photo. Mm, mm, mm. Some of Combs' employees quit after witnessing him physically abuse her, Ventura said. Cassie Ventura testified that early on in their relationship, Sean Diddy Combs' security personnel and drivers saw him physically abuse her. In later years, assistants, including one named Mia, witnessed the abuse. Some assistants told her they quit after witnessing the abuse. Because you remember I said he had a ton of assistants. Jurors react to images being shown in court. The jury is now seeing sexually explicit images taken from some of the freak off videos. One female juror let out a deep breath and rested her hand on her chest as an image was placed on the monitor before her. A male juror looked at the screen in one of the images and his eyes appeared to have moved quickly away. A different male juror wrote on his notepad. I'm quite sure that they're quite jarring. Okay, she again talks about the physical fights that she said. Anytime he was physical, there was at least be some trace, a bruise or something. Mm, mm, mm. Okay, Cassie Ventura testified about the first instance of violence with Sean Diddy Combs, which happened in the first years of their relationship. Ventura said she was at dinner when she saw Combs floating with somebody. Another person saw that Ventura had noticed and she just shrugged her shoulders, she testified. When they got into the car after dinner, he hit me in the side of my head and I fell to the floor of the car, Ventura said. His security and driver were also present in the car, she said. I was just shocked. I didn't necessarily understand what happened and why he was so angry, except for the little bit he said in the car. He was hitting me, she said. And I just went home and kind of hid out after that. I wonder, was that the one that, because there is a guy who was one of Sean Combs' former security, Dial, something like that. And he was talking about there was an incident where he saw Diddy beat Cassie, and then she tumbles out of the car and tries to run away. They bring her back, and then he starts to stomp on her. I think this is it. Hold on. Combs security team once chased after you. Cassie is describing another time she was violent with her. She said after a party at Los Angeles club, Combs called her name. Ventura says she drunkenly punched him in the face in response, which prompted Combs to beat her, stomp on her face while she was on the floor of the Escalade. When they got to the house, they said she jumped it. Yeah, this is it. She jumped out the car and run down the street. But Combs security, again, and let's just be clear about something. It is understood that Sean Combs is your employer and you're supposed to be providing security for Mr. Combs. I can't tell you not. I don't have the contracts. I don't know these folks, but it is my assumption that part of your security detail is not to participate in the assault. Ventura said that she finally looked at her face once she was in Combs' house and she didn't recognize herself. Just knots and bleeding, swollen, everything. I looked horrible. And I believe that was the time that Ventura said that she did not have the resources to leave after Cornbita. Because, just for us common and regular folks, a lot of us always sit back and say, well, she should have left. If it was me, I'd have left. Ain't no way in the world. Now, you remember, listen to what she says. In the beginning, when she had the resources, she had her own place. In the beginning, she was working on that first album. That first album gets out. I don't know how it hit on the charts. I don't know anything like that, but apparently there was some type of money that she had. When you haven't put out another album, when you're not touring, you're not making a lot of money. And let's be clear, you're looking at a premiere that she did in 2015. Where did that money go? Remember, she said earlier in her testimony, which I think it was smart by the prosecution to mention that one of Diddy's assistants was handling her finances. Cassie Ventura testified about what happened after she and Sean Diddy Combs beat her following a party in Los Angeles. She said that Combs told her she needed to sneak out of the house and go with security to stay at a hotel. She testified that she snuck into a hotel covered up because no one could see her like that. Ventura says she wanted to stay at Combs's house instead of going to the hotel, but he wouldn't let her. She told Combs and his staff that she wanted to leave the hotel where she was staying for about a week. But Ventura also said that she didn't feel like she could leave and that she didn't think it was safe for her to do so. She said, I didn't have the resources I needed to get out and move, to get out and not have anybody stop me, she said. I understood Sean's capabilities, his access to guns, and the threats he made to her. Ventura said that her mother read a description of the incident online that didn't include her name and reached out to see about her. Because again, somebody saw her get beat down at the club. And she goes on to say, okay, we're getting to Kid Cudi now. Let's get here. Ventura emailed her mom in 2011 saying Combs had threatened to release sex tapes. The jury is now being shown an email Cassie Ventura sent to her mom on one of Sean Diddy Combs' employees and one of Sean Diddy's employees in 2011. The email says that Combs had threatened to release explicit sex tapes of her, including one on Christmas Day. In the email, Ventura also said Combs threatened to hurt her and Scott Mescudi, known as Kid Cudi, who Ventura was dating at the time, but not with his own hands. Combs said that he'll be out of the country. Okay, so this was during the time that her and Diddy were on a break. That she stopped dating. She started dating because I do remember they were saying that they were no longer dating, and he was out in the streets. And so because she was out in the streets, in order for her to come back, he's threatening to release sex tapes. Ventura testified that Combs lunged at her with a wine opener when he found out that she was dating Kid Cudi. Because remember, he had her a certain way where she would do her comings and goings. He had picked out everything that he needed for her to be doing and all the time. And then for her to go out and date Kid Cudi, who was who was popular. When he kick push kid. Anyway, Ventura recalled Combs lunging at her with a wine opener between his fingers after he read through some emails referencing the man on her phone. Ventura said that she managed to escape the quote freak off in a hotel room to go to another hotel where she had been staying. She called the man that she had been dating, Scott Mescudi, also known as rapper Kid Cudi, um, on a burner phone to come pick her up. Ventura said that after speaking with one of Combs' employees, she went over to Combs' house to talk about things to try to resolve the thing. Child, you weren't using the sense because there was no reasoning. If this man can put your head between the washer and dryer, there is really no reasoning with someone like that. Look at that. They're showing her another black eye, and she's from a trip in Jamaica, and she's not even sure how she got the black eye because it was so many. Let's see. Ventura says she and Combs and Cuddy met up after the rapper's car blew up. What? Sean and Diddy Combs told Cassie that rapper Kid Cudi car would be blown up, Ventura said. Ventura testified earlier that she was dating Kid Cudi at the time. Combs told her that he wanted Kid Cudi's friends to see the car blown up in the driveway of Scott's home. At some point, his car blew up. Sometimes after the car blew up, Combs, Ventura, and Kid Cudi had a meeting at Soho House about their relationship. When Kid Cudi asked about his vehicle, Ventura said, Combs responded, "What vehicle?" The meeting promptly ended after that. I'm quite sure they cried. Who was doing all that crying? They didn't say. Ventura says she saw Combs physically abuse other people, including some of his employees. So, can you imagine? Ventura testified she saw Combs drag his assistant Mia out of her bed and onto the deck outside her room after she resisted when he tried to take her phone. Ventura went on to describe seeing Combs hold her friend over the balcony railing at her Los Angeles apartment early one morning. Oh my gosh. There was an incident where I was asleep in my room, and when I came out, Sean was holding her and threw her onto the patio furniture, Ventura said. I saw him bring her back over the railings of the balcony and then throw her onto the patio furniture. So her and Mia are still friends. She says her friendship with her best friend, 17 years, ended in 2018 after a altercation. Uh, he came and saw that we were going to do drugs, and he hit her in the head with a wooden hanger. Oh, okay. Because some things are to me are self-explanatory. I'm not going to read it. Ventura says she kept a knife wedged in a door handle after getting angry. After getting unannounced visits for Combs. So why didn't she just change the locks? All right. So I think we kind of got pretty much what yesterday's testimony was. I'm not seeing anything of I don't see what more that we're going to be able to glean from that. So let's do this. Let's see if this can be refreshed. All right. So let's get to day 4. Give me one moment. Right. And again, I want to just add these charges back up here real quick while I get to what's going on today. All right. So we're gonna read the transcripts of Inner City Press. Let me make sure. All right. So we're gonna be going back and forth between the live updates from CNN. And we'll get on this way. Let's see where we are. So let's recap what happened yesterday. They showed details of a violent relationship. She talked about the violent behavior. Cassie talked about the details of her violent relationship with Sean Combs. We talked about the violent relationship with other folks. She talked about her relationship with Kid Cudi and that car blowing up. They talked about the witnesses to the violence. They talked about Ventura seeking help for her drug use. We talked about the lawsuit settlement. Also, too, what was talked about as well is towards the end afternoon, apparently there was this big brouhaha about getting Cassie's now husband out of the courtroom before she started to talk about a different incident. And apparently the incident that they talked about described a RAP RAPE that Diddy did onto Cassie. And this is after their relationship had ended. And then there was another incident where they had gone out to dinner or they had done something even after that particular incident. They did discuss those things. I am sure that they're going to get an expert in to talk about that behavior. From what I understand too, is that they asked her about the settlement, and she explained, because you remember earlier, right after he was arrested, they were talking about, somebody from Diddy's team was saying that Cassie was trying to write a book and they were trying to get a copy of this book, and she's trying to write a book. Well, they said that she did talk about that. And this was talked about. I guess she was in counseling and then she, discussing all the things. She decided that she wanted to write a book, but she also told him that she was writing a book because she wanted him to know and understand how she felt and how what he put her through, what that did to her. And then she said, I think that there was some back and forth, and then she said she decided to sue. They asked her about the number. She said she just threw it out in the air because it was going to be a number that he was going to have to pay attention to. And as we recall, it was $30 million. They asked her, when she put the lawsuit out, she said he was, because she had told him that she was going to do the lawsuit. I guess he didn't believe it. She put it out there, and in 24 hours it was settled. She said that um, Sean Combs paid money for it, and also his businesses paid as well. So again, if we're looking, if we go back and look at these charges, if we go back and look at the charges, this is that racketeering type stuff that's going on. All right, so we weren't ready for you yet. Sorry. So a pundit says that what to expect in court today, that Combs's defense is going to argue that the freak-offs were a consensual sex act. Um, Basically. So prior to court, before Cassie Ventura's cross examination begins, the judge and the lawyers need to address a text message issue in court. Prosecutors raised concern about the defense bringing in text messages that references Ventura having sex with someone else other than Sean Diddy Combs or an escort. They say the messages would be in violation of the parties' agreement not to allow that kind of evidence into the trial. Defense attorneys Mark Agnafilio said that his team wants to show the jury conversations between Combs and Ventura that reference infidelity and jealousy that used a more vulgar vocabulary. This is the real world way that people express hurt over realization that there's cheating going on, he said. The judge asked the defense and prosecution to submit letters on the issue last night. He said that they'll address it in the morning at 8:30 a.m. before the jury comes in. Testimony was began at 9:30 Eastern Standard Time. Let's see. Judges on the bench. Prosecution and defense will discuss text messages issues before the thing. The jury is not in. Defense says they want to use the colorful text messages during the examination. The attorneys are still debating. Evidentiary issues. Members of the family are starting to ride, and it's looking like the family members are dwindling because I don't see the daughters. The jury enters the room. All right, so let's get into this. Where are we? Here we go. So this is from Inner City Press. We are ready. We are ready. This is what's going on in the morning in pretty much real time. So we'll just continue. So before the cross examination, Ventura's lawyer, Wigdor, I have a right to be part of the meet and confer about which evidence she can be questioned about. She is the only witness that has standing under Rule 412. The judge, we have to move forward. We have to move forward. Judge, other issues, Ms. Slavic? Prosecution. As we noted in our email to the court earlier this morning, I'm sorry, y'all. I don't know why all of a sudden text messages, which I don't want notifications on, it's just starting to notify me. Anyway, I'll handle that later. As we noted in our email to the court early this morning, note the judicial documents are not being put in the public docket. It says here, Judge, we might get a sign from Miss Estavo, who will cross Cassie. That's not an issue. A attorney for the U.S. Slavic, the defense last night dumped 400 exhibits on us. This cannot continue throughout the course of the trial. All right. Let's see if that stops it. I'm sorry. The defense last night dumped 400 exhibits on us. This cannot continue throughout the course of the trial. Judge Miss Estavio, Combs' lawyer. We have been working tirelessly in response to Miss Ventura's testimony. Judge, Miss Agnefield, I thought you were going to take his something off my plate. Agnefield, I will keep trying. This is the main witness. She stands by herself. That said, we have been doing this all night until 3 this morning. We flagged exhibits for them. Slavic. There are 24 exhibits that the government has objections to. They are listed in the chart, Judge. Just the ones in the chart. Again, these judicial documents are not going into the public docket, and so they don't know what they're talking about, basically. And so they went through all of that. Let me make sure that there wasn't anything else. No. Judge, bring in the jury. The jury enters. Combs' lawyer, Estava. Miss Ventura, you loved Mr. Combs, correct? Ventura, yes, I did. Estava, for 11 years, you took care of him? Ventura, in some ways. Estavio, you called him larger than life? Ventura, I did. Estavio, others called him Diddy or Puff Daddy, but you called him Sean, right? Ventura, yes. Estavio, you knew a version of him that the rest of the world couldn't see, right? Prosecution did an objection. The judge, he overruled it, so she has to answer. If they sustain it, then she can't answer the question. Ventura, in ways. Estavio, you kept coming back to him for 11 years. Ventura, I wouldn't say coming back. Estavio, you believed he loved you too. I did believe he loved me too, Ventura said. Estavio, so when he cheated on you, it hurt. Ventura, not every time. Estavio, bring up this defense exhibit. Prosecution. Objection. Not in evidence. Judge. That's true. This is not in evidence. Estavio. Miss Ventura, read it just yourself. Why did you send this message? To let him know I was going to dinner. Estavio. What was going on when these messages were sent? Ventura. I'm not sure. Estavio. What was going on in your relationship then? Ventura. It was early. We were loving. Estavio. I offer it. Objection. Being offered for the truth. Overruled. Defense. Please read. Ventura. I wrote, quote, I love you, smiley face. I'll fly anywhere for you. I love you, Cass. Estavio. This is a 2009 email. And I am just shocked the fact that, because I remember when emails were hot and heavy, everybody was sending an email every time you went somewhere, but everyone is texting now. So I'm just always, it always tickles me to see now that people are still doing emails. Y'all, I got so much stuff going on. I got cameras that have fallen. Give me one moment. All right. Maybe that'll work. But getting back to me and these emails, child, this is amazing. Prosecution, objection, hearsay. Judge, Mr. Stavio, ask more questions. Stavio, from BlackBerry, what is BG? Ventura, baby girl. Baby girl. Can we normalize that calling people baby girl and calling guys pop pop is kind of can give all of us the ick now that we listen to this testimony. Oh my goodness. Combs, the defense. What did you write? Ventura. You hungry, Pop Pop? Defense. Estevallo. And Mr. Combs wrote to you, quote, we are so in love, we don't do anything else. How long had you been seeing each other? Ventura. Like 2.5 years. Estevallo. Please read this. And she had, I guess it's 1364. I think that's exhibit number 1364. Ventura. And I quote, I haven't talked to you at all. You don't even try. You rush me off the phone. I'm really hurt. I don't need your money. I need some attention. Es- Es- Estevallo, you wanted your special time with Mr. Combs? Ventura, yes. Estevallo, the defense. You testified. You told him, I love you so much. You make me a better woman. Ventura, I definitely wrote those messages. Estevallo, you wrote, I can't wait until we have a baby of our own. You knew he had 6 children at the time. Ventura, yes. And side note, he was very quick to make everybody know he had 6 children. When he thought he was in trouble, he made sure she knew he had 6 children. So possibly he'd been telling her that he didn't want any more children. But again, that's those things that happen when you get into relationships with people who you're not evenly yoked with. If you're somebody that doesn't want any children, you don't need to be in a relationship with someone who does, and vice versa. I'm talking to you all, not fussing at them. I'm just saying these are the things that happen when people are evenly yoked. This is what unevenly yoked. This is what happens when people get into relationships because someone's sex is good, or someone looks good, or someone is 6 feet tall, or someone is fit, feminine, and friendly. And these are the things that you're focusing on. But then when you talk about the characteristics and the things that you need for a marriage to work, you all have no conversation about that. You're so busy trying to plan a wedding and make sure the food is right and make sure the venue is right and all these other stuff. But you haven't talked about the fact that you want kids and he doesn't want children. You haven't talked to the fact that she don't want kids, but you want children. You all put it in your mind, well, we're going to be married and, he'll change his mind eventually. She'll change her mind eventually. And then your marriage severs, or your relationship severs, because y'all are not on the same page. Because again, the things that you all looked at to get into this relationship were superficial. Is she fit, feminine, and friendly? Is he 6 foot tall? Is his member over the average size? Let's continue. I'm ranting. I know. I'm sorry. But you'll get those from here when I read something that causes me to rant. Combs Estevallo. So now, these messages about freak off. When you say you know it doesn't matter to me, you mean weekends or weekdays, either is fine. Ventura, that's what it says. Estevallo. Mr. Combs says maybe we can just call Jules. Can you do it? Yes. Combs Estevallo. This was an explicit message from you about the anticipated upcoming freak off. Prosecution, objection. Says here the judge will take a recess. They took their recess. So at 10:48, they're back. Judge says, Ms. Estevallo, you may proceed. She proceeds. She says, Ms. Ventura, this is from Mr. Combs to you. You respond with an extremely explicit message, right? Ventura, yes. Estevallo, this is 2 days after the planning of a freak off, right? Yes. Estevallo, he said, I want to see. How did you reply? Ventura, I can't wait either. Estevallo, you wrote, quote, I feel like I want to F right. Ventura, that's what it says. Estevallo, Mr. Combs says, I'm so horny I can't concentrate. What did you say? Ventura, that I'll go to Dwayne Reed for candles and then set up the room. Estevallo, did you understand that he was going to take another video of you? Prosecution, objection, speculation. Judge, Miss Estevallo, you can move on. Estevallo, you ask, any pills on you? Yes. Estevallo, what pills were you taking then? Ventura, opiates. Now she's already testified that she's taken the opiates. Now what's going on is that they want to make sure or ram into the jury's head is that she was a willing participant in all of this. That's what's important to them, that she was a willing participant in all of this. From taking the drugs, from setting up the room, from calling the escorts, and also paying cash in hand. That these are all the things that she did. That's not what Mr. Combs did. This is what Miss Ventura did. This is what they're setting up. This is how they bring this home, that or put a level of doubt into the jury's mind that she was the one who set it up, who talked about it, who sent messages about it, and even asked for the drugs. because they want to continue that she was a willing participant. Estevaya, you deleted videos on your device, right? Ventura, yes. Estavio, what did you write? Ventura, they must be showing her something as to why she keeps asking her those questions. That I need to feel this. This is my husband, the only one who will see this side of me. Estevallo, were you afraid that Mr. Combs was only seeing you for sex in this way? Ventura, that was a concern. Estevallo, you still were not public in your relationship with him. Ventura, correct. Estevallo, were freak offs important? Ventura, integral to us. Estevallo, who was at your 21st birthday party in Las Vegas? Ventura, Britney Spears, Dallas Austin. Estevallo, how did you get them there? Ventura, they came for Sean. Estevallo, you're very beautiful and charming. Ventura, thank you. Estevallo, it's true. Estevallo, you trying to you trying to what is with these questioning? Estevallo, who is Tommy Mottola? Ventura, a well-known producer. Estevallo, you were an up-and-coming star. Ventura, I guess you could say that. After you signed with Bad Boys, things were still platonic. Ventura, yes. Was Tommy Mottola the person who she was talking to, and he beat her down to the white meat? Because if you all are not familiar, Tommy Mottola was Mariah Carey's first husband, and she went through a lot with him. She was married to him. That marriage didn't work out, and he proceeded to make her life in the industry a living hell, to the point. Now this is all with the rumors and stuff like that, to the point that she had like a nervous breakdown. That's what they say. Estevaya. Yes. So there was something. They asked her a question, and then she said, "You had a rough performance." Ventura, one in Sock, six in Park did not go well for me. Estevaya, how did he help you after that? Ventura, we did a YouTube video. He said everybody makes mistakes. Estevaya, what was wrong? Ventura, I couldn't hear myself. Y'all, because I don't remember or deign to know that I know any of Cassie's songs. I don't remember anything. Again, my flappers are still gasted that she had a 10-album deal when seasoned artists who have proven themselves after one or two or three albums don't get deals like that. Miss Estevallo, this is the defense. You were dating Mr. Leslie. How much older was than you was he? Ventura, 10 years. Estevaya. Then you traveled to Miami with Mr. Combs. The the flyer of the event was just a cover to spend. This is the incident. They're talking about that incident. And I don't know if I talked about it in the first stream or the second stream. I can't remember. But there was an incident that, well, no, it was in the lawsuit. In the lawsuit, she said that she was going to spend time with a boyfriend. And she said she got a call, or it could have been an email text, but anyway, she got word that there was supposed to be, they had procured either a hosting gig, or they procured a singing gig for her. She was going to be at this club. They had flyers and everything was going. Let me see. Here we go. And I'm reading from the lawsuit, y'all. In early fall 2007, Mr. Combs flexed his power and influence when he paid a promoter to create a fake flyer for a party hosted by Miss Ventura. This fake posting allowed Miss Ventura to have an excuse to go to Miami, Florida, and to get her away from her boyfriend by using the guise of a legitimate event she had to attend. Miss Ventura was stunned at how easily Mr. Combs was able to recruit others to lie for him. Miss Ventura was uncomfortable with the fake flyer, but because the request to go to Miami was made by the owner of her record label, and because she was scared to go against his wishes and face repercussions to her nascent career, Miss Ventura agreed to join Mr. Combs in Florida. During this trip to Miami, Mr. Combs provided Miss Ventura with copious amounts of drugs. She became more intoxicated than she ever had before, and her intoxication lasted throughout the weekend trip. As she wanted Mr. Combs to continue to support her career, she felt like she could not refuse Mr. Combs urging her to take more drugs. After providing her with drugs, Mr. Combs had intercourse with Miss Ventura during this trip. Let's continue. Then you traveled to Miami with Mr. Combs. The flyer of the event was just a cover to spend time with Mr. Combs, right? She says that's true. That's fine. You had a tattoo of Mr. Leslie's initial on your body, right? Ventura, yes. How many tattoos did you have of him? Prosecution, objection, relevance. The judge says overrule, but let's keep it moving. Ventura, 3. Estavo, the one on your arm? She answers, no regrets. Miss Estevallo, Mr. Combs taught you how to do oral? Ventura, he did. Estevallo, look at this. Tell me when you're ready. Can you read it? Ventura, you can read it. It's making me laugh. It's from 2007. Estevallo, you wrote, I feel protected. You are sweet. Okay. So Estevallo says, you wrote, I see that Carrie is better. I see that Carrie is better fitting for you. I'm hurt that you think I'm malicious. You are very important to me. X. Cass. Ventura laughs. Estavio, what were you trying to convey? Ventura, it's like a journal entry. Estevallo, this is the defense. You discussed Carrie Morgan. Did you think Mr. Combs was attracted to her? Ventura, there was a point in the very beginning. Estevallo, did that complication carry on into your relationship? Ventura, not really. Carrie was just always with us. Defense, I'd like to start asking about freak-offs. Sometimes you wore wig and mask. Ventura, yes. Estevallo, the general public did not know. Prosecution, objection. Judge, rephrase. Estevallo, no one knew until November 2023 in the public. Yes. Because remember, everybody in the public was thinking that these were ORGIEs and that people were being pulled and snatched from white parties and things like that and asked to participate and given copious amounts of drugs to participate. And what we have found out in regards to the freak off that these were carefully curated debauchery art. Because remember, these freak offs weren't like I said, they weren't public. These were things that only for the eyes of Sean Combs, and Cassie was always supposed to be the star in it. So Estevallo says, fair to say his career was ruined after your lawsuit. Ventura, I could understand that. Estevallo, let's read these messages Mr. Combs wrote when you were on your period. Ventura, no, now? Estevayo, what you be thinking about when you horny? So they must be reading back and forth this set of information. Combs Estevayo. Miss Ventura, if you don't want to read the answers, I can read them. Ventura, thank you. Estevayo, the O has a lots of O's after them, right? Ventura, yes. Estevayo, after a freak off, you'd make love with Mr. Combs? Ventura, yes. Well, if he likes for somebody else's, oh, we didn't mention that after the freak offs, uh, they had said something to the point where, and I'm trying to do this so that it won't be so graphic, but that after the man was finished, finished, and then he let loose what he was finished with out of his body, that it would be on Cassie's body. And then past Cassie would get up and then go in there with Mr. Combs and then rub it over Mr. Combs's chest and breast area. Let's continue. The defense asks, your period. Mr. Combs is asking you when you're on it, right? Ventura, yep. Estevaya, he's asking in the context of when to meet up and have sex. Ventura, looks like it. Estevaya, sometimes you watched him with a female. Ventura, 2 or 3 times. Interesting. Estevaya, because they did go to sex clubs. So let's be clear. They did go to those kind of clubs. La 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 la. Did you talk with Mr. Combs about the swinger lifestyle? That no one talks about it. See? See what I'm talking about? Those people in that lifestyle. See, Shannon Sharp, you could have found kindred spirits over there when it, in that lifestyle in those clubs or anything like that. There are honors amongst freaks over there. There's honors amongst fans. I'll put it like that. Were you keeping freak off secrets from your friends? Ventura, yes. Estevao, his assistants helped him. Ventura, with everything. We're probably catching up with the stuff. So let's stop here and let's go to CNN. And so according to CNN, it says here, defense attorney Anna Estavio asked Cassie Ventura if she remembered calling Sean Diddy Combs larger than life during her testimony. Ventura confirmed she did. Quote, but he was Sean. And quote, you knew the Sean that other people didn't see, Estavio said, and Ventura confirmed. Estavio asked Ventura if Ventura always knew that she was special to Combs. And she says, Ventura responds, quote, no, I don't think I always knew. Estavio, you sometimes knew. Ventura replied, sometimes it's fair. Ventura's voice was soft, almost a whisper, as she answered these questions. Ventura says she felt hurt more at the beginning of their relationship when Combs cheated. Cassie Ventura confirmed that she was with Sean Diddy Combs for 11 years despite his flaws because she believed he truly loved her. So when he cheated on you, it really hurt. Estavios. It's either Estavio or Estevayo. I'm not, and I will interchange between both until somebody corrects me. I would say not every time, Ventura said, adding that she spent more time feeling hurt in the early stages of their relationship. Because you remember, she was young and dumb and he thought the same way about monogamy and being in relationships. All right. Jury sees emails between Combs and Ventura. The jury saw emails between Sean Diddy Combs and Cassie Ventura from January 2008. Ventura read the emails aloud on the witness stand. Combs says, "It makes me happy that you would fly to ATL just to see me. I'm a very lucky man. I love you, I miss you, and I can't wait to hold you." Ventura responded, "I'm a very lucky woman. I miss you so much. I fly wherever you needed me, whenever. I love you." Ventura testified that early in their relationship around this time, she and Combs would often send each other loving messages. And so they share some of the text messages. And it says here the jury is being shown a series of text messages between Sean Diddy Combs and Cassie Ventura. And I'm quite sure there's a lot of them because their relationships are so long, expanded so much time. They went from email to, they went to very graphic emails to very graphic texts, it looks like. Ventura testified that one exchange was sent via BlackBerry about 2.5 years in their relationship. Some of that exchange reads as follows: Ventura, going to sleep now, so it can be tomorrow faster. I love you. Combs, love my baby. Ventura, smile. Combs, I love you so much it consumes my life. Ventura, I wonder the same thing for myself, like who I was before we decided to be together. Combs, I never knew it could be like this. Is it me? But did he just quote a song right there? I never knew love like, yes, like this before. Now I'm lonely, nevermore. Okay. The jury also saw text from August 2009 in which Combs told Ventura, I love you so much it makes me cry. In that exchange, Ventura called Combs Pop Pop. And then he calls her baby girl. And so, again, can we agree that in this text going forward, those things are kind of, they can give you the ick a little bit. Earlier this week, Ventura testified that she calls Combs Pop Pop, which was the name she called her grandfather. Ventura testifies she wanted more time and attention from Combs when they were dating. The jury saw a message Ventura sent Combs in April 2010. I haven't talked to you at all. I know you can take 3 minutes out of your day to talk to me, and you don't even try. You're in too much of a rush to get me off the phone. That's not being in a relationship with someone that you love and are in love with. I am really hurt by the way you deal with me. I don't need your money. I need some attention. I'm thankful, but I can pay for these things myself. Ventura recalls what made her fall in love with Combs. Cassie Ventura testified that she fell in love with Sean Diddy Combs' real personality. Interesting. Defense attorney Annie Estavallo asked Ventura what made her fall in love with Combs, prompting Ventura to say that she hadn't thought about it in a while. She said the beginning of the relationship was really, we spoke about it already. It was really fast paced, scary. But the more time I spent with him and got to know him, his real personality, at least what I thought was his real personality, and I liked what it was, she explained. When asked what about his personality she liked, Ventura said, in the beginning of their relationship, he was, quote, very sweet and attentive. Ventura also described Combs as having a charismatic, big personality that everyone really loved. Defense attorney asked Ventura about her desire to make Combs happy. And defense attorney Anna Estavallo asked Cassie Ventura a series of questions about how she earned Sean Diddy Combs' trust and about how she wanted to make him happy. Quote, and to make him happy, you told him that you wanted to do freak offs, Estavallo asked, referring to the drug fueled sex performances Cubs arrange. Quote, there is a lot more to that, Ventura Cassie Ventura responded. So they she asked for a break. That was 2 hours ago. During this break requested by Cassie, defense lawyer Karen Friedman Agnafilio, who is married to Sean Diddy Combs' lawyer Mark Agnafilio, is at a divider and conferring with 5 attorneys from the defense team. She is speaking the longest with Anna Estevallo, who is doing the cross examination. Earlier, Combs gave a heart shaped gesture to Karen Friedman's Agnafilio's mother, who is sitting beside her. Combs is wearing a beige sweater, white collar, and gray pants. His 3 sons and mother are in the courtroom this morning. He tapped his chest when he made eye contact with them. Ventura turns to the stand. Juror is shown sexually graphic text messages Combs and Ventura exchanged in 2009. The jury is seeing more sexually graphic text Cassie Ventura and Sean Diddy Combs exchanged in 2009. The messages are a continuation of texts that were shown before Ventura, who is being cross-examined by the defense and now has asked for a short break. Those texts came as they were planning a freak off in which it was Combs caught, drug fueled sex performances. That's what they were. Yeah. Ventura said that she was using opiates around the time she sent the text messages. The jury saw another messages exchange because we're probably going to see a lot of text messages and a lot of words that they said during the course of their relationship. Because, good Lord, it was 11 years, and I'm trying to figure out where she's going with this, asking her about those text messages and things like that. But I am seeing. I'm going to continue reading this little blurb, and then we're going to get back. I think we got 2 more blurbs, and then we're going to get back to real time. Da, 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 da. The jury saw another message exchange between Sean Diddy Combs and Cassie Ventura from August 2009, where she talked about wanting more pills and deleting a video. In the text, Ventura asked Combs if he had any more pills. Ventura testified that she was using opiates like Norco around the time these messages were sent. In the same text messages, Ventura also mentioned deleting a video, but she testified that she wasn't sure what kind of video she was referring to in the messages and couldn't be sure if it was a freak off recording. Defense attorney Annie Estevallo asked if Ventura preferred to have freak off videos recorded on her devices. Ventura says, "I did not want them to be recorded at all." Ventura gave more details about her 21st birthday. Cassie Ventura testified it was fair to say that she was a celebrity in her own right by the time she was 21. Sean Diddy Combs bought other celebrities to her birthday party, which was held at a nightclub in Vegas. When defense attorney Annie Estevallo asked Ventura how a 21-year-old could attract celebrity guests, Ventura said, "That was all him. I didn't know them." Because I seen the picture because Britney Spears looked like she left her shop. She left shopping to come over there just to sit at the party and go back home. I remember seeing that. Interesting. Ventura testified during the prosecution's direct examination that she ran away when Combs kissed her for the first time at the 21st birthday party. Ventura testified Combs was the second older man that she dated. Ventura testified that she met Sean Diddy Combs through Ryan Leslie, a music producer, and that she dated for about 3 years, beginning when she was 18 or 19. Leslie was about 10 years older than her, Ventura said, meaning Combs was the second older man that she dated at that point because there's like a 17 years difference between her and Combs. Ventura and Combs had a platonic relationship when she first signed to his company, a 10-album deal. Bad Boy Records, she confirmed. He supported her after a bad TV performance, and that And that meant a lot to her, she said. Hold on, y'all. Lord have mercy. Lord have mercy. I just, I have to. I have to. I think we got a little blipping of it. Let's see. Okay. Oh, it wasn't good, y'all. I had it wasn't good. There's no need for me. I was going to play it, but there is no. It's not good. So they reconciled that they had a bad performance, and we'll continue. It wasn't good, y'all. Cassie Ventura testified that she met Sean Diddy Combs through Ryan Leslie. Okay. Ventura and Combs had a platonic relationship and he supported her performance. Following her 21st birthday, Ventura said that she wanted to join Combs on a trip to Miami, but she was still dating Leslie. So she testified she used a flyer for an event as an excuse to go on the trip. And let's pivot back to the lawsuit, and I will reread it again. It says here, in early fall 2007, Mr. Cohn flexed his power and influence when he paid a promoter to create a fake flyer for a party hosted by Miss Ventura. This fake posting allowed Miss Ventura to have an excuse to go to Miami, Florida, and get her away from her boyfriend by using the guise of a legitimate event that she had to attend. So let's continue. Uh, Ventura told Combs she needed to feel safe, text message shown. The jury viewed a text messages between Cassie Ventura and Sean Diddy Combs from December 20, 2009 that Ventura confirmed reflected the open communication between them. She told defense attorney Anna Estavallo that uh, at the time, she felt comfortable expressing her needs to Combs over participating in Freakoff's drug fueled sexual performances orchestrated by Combs. Ventura wrote in the 2009 message that she needed to feel safe, like home, to be more open with the things that we do in bed. All right. I think we are almost clued. All right. So let's get back because I'll be able to read the rest of this and then I'm going to have to mosey on. Oh, I think I went too far back. All right, so let's start here. Mr. Estavallo says, you would remember if an assistant came in during one of your sessions with an escort. Ventura, not necessarily. I was high. Estavallo, so you don't remember much? Ventura, I had my privacy invaded a lot during that relationship. Estavallo. This is from July 2012. You say to Mr. Combs, quote, I'm horny and bored. This was after a freak off, right? Ventura, there are a lot of texts. There are a lot for texts here. It's said to be 25 pages where the defense exhibits ostensibly entered into evidence be available. Now that's what Inner City Press is asking. Uh, Prosecutor Johnson, she says, I would ask that the witness be allowed to read the entire document. The judge, how many pages? Combs, Estevallo, 8. ASU, we don't have a copy for the witness. Estevallo, we'll show it on the screen, but not in the public gallery. Estevallo, I guess they give her opportunity to read them. Estevallo says, you said Mr. Combs often put you down, but he also sent you encouragement and called you a queen, right? Ventura, yes. Sidebar. Estevallo, what would trigger Mr. Combs' incessant call to you? Ventura, anger, doubt about where I was. Estevallo, if he suspected you of cheating, he'd call you incessantly. Ventura, that was one of the reasons. Estevallo, because he thought, and that was objective, because he thought was what Estevallo said. The prosecution objected. The judge sustained. Estevallo says, do you believe Mr. Combs has good taste? Ventura, I think he does. Estevallo, he's had an impact on fashion. Ventura, people like his style. Sean John. Estevallo, did you consult with him on your look? Ventura, sometimes I got advice I didn't ask for. Estevallo, he still ran his companies even while having all these freak offs, right? Ventura, he did. Estevallo, what was he addicted to? Ventura, success. And she laughs. Estevallo, what substances? Opiates. Ventura, yes, he told me and I saw it. And lastly, it says here, Combs, Estevallo. Did Mr. Combs' mood depend on whether or not he was withdrawing from opiates? Ventura, he was more irritable, I would say. Estevallo, what other drugs was Mr. Combs addicted to? Prosecution, objection, no foundation. Judge, I'll ask if I want the grounds. And so what they're trying to show is, I think that they're putting up a defense that, Mr. Combs was drugged out. He had an addictive personality. He was drugged out. So let's finish up the last little bit of information that we have here on CNN. And then after that, if y'all don't have any questions or anything for me, I'm going to have to skedaddle. Okay, let's read this. Why the prosecution asked Ventura about her civil lawsuit against the Combs before the defense could today. Prosecutors always want to do what we call drawing the string. So if you know that there's a good point for cross-examination, you always want to bring it out on direct so that the jury isn't surprised and they don't think. And prosecutor didn't tell us about this. Roger said, oh, okay. So they don't feel like that the prosecutors omitted some information or that they possibly could have lied to them. So you're kind of signaling to the juror, we know about this, but we still believe our witness. Okay. Ventura says that she and Combs had conversations about the swingers' lifestyle. Cassie Ventura confirmed that she and her then boyfriend, Sean Diddy Combs, had conversations about the swingers' lifestyle. And eventually she saw it in person at the X clubs that they went to. Defense attorney Anna Estevallo asked if the freak-offs were related to the swingers' lifestyle. She said related in a sexual way. Yeah, Ventura said, but they were very different. Ventura says she did not want Combs staff to know about the freak-offs. She didn't tell her friends about the freak-offs. She said Combs would call incessantly if she didn't pick up her phone, And the one of the overriding reasons why he would call her so incessantly is that he believed that she was in another relationship or cheating on him. Ventura details the influence Combs had on her physical appearance, that he did suggest and try to, because she had style or anything like that. So, court is taking a lunch break, and we are all caught up from the morning session. So, what I'll do is that I will have to recap the second half of this in another video, and I'll go back over the full day and recap the second half of this day today. Uh, it says here the defense says that it will try to finish Ventura's cross examination by tomorrow. So we may see her on the stand one more day, and then it will be the end of seeing Cassie unless they have to call her back for anything. But it looks like we've had, as far as these past few days, we have learned what? Now, as far as information coming out and stuff like that, the one thing that I have learned is that these freak offs were not what we as the public envisioned them to be. We envisioned them, I think we as the public envisioned them to be like they're talking about a swingers lifestyle or an orgy type thing, but that's not what they were about. And I did a post. So go back into my post because it was a question about, with all of this going on and the way that they're testifying and how this was all consuming, with the planning, with the production itself, with the recovery from the production, which then after you've done all that, you'll redo it in another 10 to 15 hours with another escort and all this other stuff. Go back to that post and answer, is it me? Or now are we questioning all of these other lawsuits because they give you they give you the idea that there is just some kind of swinging party going on and these people are plucked into this thing and that's not where they want to be. Uh do we need to go back through those lawsuits and question what's going on? I'm curious now because again, this is what I learned, that that's not what it was. We learned that they had it was a very violent relationship. That was very violent, and we understand that other people were thrown into that violence, particularly with Kid Cudi. And then when Kid Cudi tried to uh, talk to them about what happened, looks like Diddy kind of brushed him off. So I'm wondering if Kid Cudi is going to be called in as a witness. I'm seeing that the family members are dwindling. We see the girls are not there. We see that all the boys are not there either. We see I don't see, and I don't see anybody reporting it. And if somebody is reporting, and let me know. We see that what is it, the ex girlfriends or the current girlfriends, they're not showing up. And we've also, and this is not a learning thing, but this is just one of those things I think that we as the citizenry need to sit down and try to figure out. We need to figure out a way to get a bill to petition or something that they have cameras in the courtroom, and we'll even acquiesce that even if you don't, because the Supreme Court has audio. Hell, why can't we have audio in federal cases? All right, people. Again, I'm going to have to come back with another video because, again, I explained to you all on Tuesday that Wednesday and Thursday are busy days for me, so I won't be able to sit all day and to go over this the timeline and all this other stuff. But I can come back later on this evening. I do apologize for yesterday because I tried to set a time and it didn't work out. So I'm not going to set a time today, but I will make a thing, even if it's just a quick post reviewing what happened. All right, people. We do this every week. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Please share this video if you care. Y'all, please tell a friend, tell a kin, tell a coworker, tell that heifer that you can't stand that I'm over here making these videos. All right. And as always, people, bye bye.